Hey, welcome once again to another fabulous episode of The Real Dirt. And today it's The Real Dirt with Front Row Ag. Hey. Hey, man, we sell tons of different products at Cultivate Colorado, Cultivate OKC. Hey, look, there's somebody wanting to buy some products right now. Front Row Ag is one of our more popular dry soluble products. And today I've got Matt Leland. That's a way better name.
Dude, Matt, I like that.
Matt, it's a team of Zach and Leland together. The sales team, the technical support team, Zealand. No, Zach and Leland and Matt. These guys, Matt's the product formulator for the company. Zach and Leland, they're the product technical support sales staff. And man, we're really excited about this product. At Cultivate Colorado, Cultivate OKC, we have turned so many commercial and home growers onto this. It is such a great and easy product to use. And hey, man, thanks for you guys showing up here today.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks for having us.
All right. So, yeah, man, what do we got here? Let's what kind of weeds you guys bring? This import you got here? What's going on? I hadn't seen any of it. There's a jar over there by the donuts. Did you have any donuts?
I had some donut.
Yeah, that's going to be my new Oklahoma strain called Donut.
Donuts.
Coffee and donuts.
Yes, coffee and donuts. Because if most people don't understand, Oklahoma's known for many things. Donut shops, independent donut shops all over Oklahoma, massage parlors, and now cannabis dispensaries. They're everywhere. On every block and every corner, you'll see those three things.
Interesting donuts, a rub and tug, and a little bit of weed.
I'll tell you what's hard to find though is weed that smells this good, man. This is really, really, really great looking smelling ganja. I usually don't smoke on my show, but I'm going to ask you to pass a paper and a grinder over here, and we'll put it together.
You got it. It's an honor.
So, yeah, Front Row, man. These guys have brought a great product to the market. It is market-driven, what customers want, what commercial gardeners want. And today we're going to tell you everything about it. And man, I'm just going to go ahead and preface this. These guys did not pay at all for advertisement on this, but this will be very much like an infomercial because we're going to tell you exactly how to use this product or all of their products, A and B, Bloom, SI, Bio, is it BioFlow? BioFlow, and Unleash. We're going to give you the technical details for outdoor, indoor, greenhouse, in the ground, pots, drip, sprinklers. So sit back, roll the largest joint you can, and join us for this episode of The Real Dirt. All right, Zach, tell us about Front Row Ag, how you started and where we are today.
So we started with Front Row Ag approximately 2 years ago. The product was developed by Matt Karen somewhere around 7 years ago.
Still can't say my last name.
So you go ahead and tell it. What is it? Fix it.
Yeah, I started. We started the product about 5 years ago, and then met Zach and the guys 2 years ago.
Yep. So around 2 years ago, my business partner Patrick and I took over distribution of the products pretty much worldwide, and here we are today in Oklahoma.
Oh,
2 years later.
Oklahoma clap.
Oklahoma. There we go.
Matt, you said you'd been working on this project for a number of years. You're in Michigan, is that right?
No, I live in northern Phoenix.
You're in Arizona.
Yep. Started growing in Colorado back in 2008, 2009 in Fort Collins and Loveland area. And then I've been cultivating for the better part of 10 or 11 years. And 5 years ago, really had the idea for making the fertilizer well before that, but loved growing. It's really what my passion was and always wanted to do. And so I stayed out of sales and making products and doing that business. At a certain point, we saw a really, really high need for saving people money, delivering a quality formulation. And so we just started making the idea a reality.
Man, so, I'm always interested in that business spark and what brought you to it. What was kind of like the key reason that you wanted to develop this type of dry fertilizer product that's for the cannabis industry?
Well, from a community perspective, just saving people money and not taking advantage of them was key. The straw that broke the camel's back for me and deciding to start dedicating less time to cultivation management, consulting for other people's businesses, and making a fertilizer was making fertilizer from scratch for a 5 acre outdoor farm and burning it down as a result of making the fertilizer wrong and saying, well, if it's as easy as picking up the wrong bag with the same font and letters and colors, and you can ruin millions of dollars worth of weed, it should be a lot easier than that. But you shouldn't be forced to go and spend exuberant amounts of money to make that happen either. And so we decided we were going to start Front Row.
So, many people, they say this term like all the time, I'm on salts, but it's really like not exactly what's going on, right? Like what they mean is they're on a dry soluble powder. Tell us kind of like the difference between, a cheap commercial like cucumber fertilizer and Front Row.
The quality of the inputs on any good agricultural fertilizer, you're going to have a grade. And that grade is, how well they filtered it, how many contaminants and other things that are going to be in it that you don't expect. And then there's just the quality of the inputs. Certain fertilizers are more soluble and less soluble than others. And generally, the more soluble they are, in most cases, they're a better quality, but also more expensive. So a lot of companies can make choices to cut corners and still get you fertilizer in a bottle, but that they just use cheaper and lower quality inputs.
One of the things that y'all's customers say, and Leland, this is probably a great question for you, is like how much easier it's kind of made their lives from using like a 14 part based formula. Because many of these people have come from an indoor environment, an inside environment, and now they're scaling. Right?
Yeah, definitely. We see a lot of people who are super happy with the transitions. I mean, it's a pretty simple transition overall. There's nothing to really be concerned about in terms of making a switch onto the salts. That being said, as far as the ease of use, it's literally a 3-part blend is what you're using most of the time. We're nixing out all the CalMag, any extra micronutrients that you might be adding, and just kind of rolling with an A and a B blend through veg, adding a bloom amendment, so basically a PK booster when you get into flower. So it's really, really simple to use. It's even simpler when we mix a stock concentrate, which we'll get into later. But yeah, got a lot of guys who open their bags and they'll either be pre-weighing it so they can just add it right into a reservoir right away and not have to be messing with a scale, or they're just dissolving it right away into warm water and adding it to their reservoir, which compared to mixing multiple bottles or trying to pay attention to weighing anything out exactly, it makes it a lot more streamlined.
Man, I'm sorry. I'm smoking this joint. It tastes so good. I didn't hear anything you just said.
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
What were we talking about?
Not paying to ship water.
Not paying to ship water, man. No, it's true. And, one of the misnomers that maybe non-cannabis industry people don't realize is that it's not all the same. Right. That those big chunky salts that happen to be in, the cucumber food or in their tomato food, or, that they get at their local feed and seed for $15 for 20 pounds. It's nothing like this product, most because it's the micronutrient. Hey, Matt, let's talk about the micronutrients in your product and how it is different from say, I don't know, Jack's or Peter's or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I think on the micro side, when you start there with, say, calcium, magnesium is probably the biggest difference in our product before we get into the metals. But a lot of other products out in the market, just from an inclusion standpoint, you find two things. They either try to put too many ingredients in one product, and then they can't fit enough of the magnesium and the calcium in that bag. And so you end up buying a different additive or a different product they make. Or the industry throughout time has created such an importance on PKs, calcium, magnesium, that they've made a belief almost that they have to come in separate bottles and you have to use them in addition. But really, it's just clever marketing or, preying on what people have been told over and over and over, versus our product, because we separate out all the micronutrients and all the calcium in the one product. We have a really high inclusion rate of magnesium and calcium, and you don't have to go buy another product for that. And it makes our product even easier to use as well.
So, this is the history of cannabis fertilizer is really fascinating to me because, there's this long agricultural history that's associated with dry products that you mix in a large stock reservoir. You're shipping around this dry product. But then at some point, General Hydro did this and, did it for all of us. And it was great to some degree in the hydro industry is they made these products in a liquid form. Right. In the 70s. And, that's when they came out with its first 3-part, 1976 or something like that. Like that's product's been going on a long time. And y'all's technology is literally like developed 40 years later or something, 30 years later. So, you'd think there's a considerable amount of technological advancements that had happened in that time. And there has been. But in our industry, it's almost all until now been liquid oriented. Right. Like you guys got any, as salespeople, you guys got any theories on why we kept a hold of the liquid fertilizers for such a long time?
I can speculate. I've been selling fertilizers going into my 13th year. I started with advanced nutrients. So that'll tell you back in the day, selling the liquids. And I would say at some level, prior to that, advanced nutrients, actually, one of their first products was all powder. You can go back and still look at GH and you can see like even Maxi and all these other products that are still high selling products in the market. I think that at one point what happened was it turned out to be like a ease of use thing. It's a hell of a lot easier most of the time to measure out mils compared to grams. People mess that shit up all the time. You'd think as weed, they figure out
liquid mils.
Yeah, liquid mils compared. You'd figure people by then would already figure out how to use some scales.
Especially at a small scale too. When it was, 1 light, 2 lights, or 4 lights.
Yeah, the 2 light guys definitely got a scale.
Mm. I think at that level too, the costs don't matter as much. It's you're a hobbyist, and the amount that you're probably going to get per gram or per pound is going to be exuberant, and you're not as concerned about the liquid fertilizer.
Yeah, and I think at some level too, it was one thing, and I always like to throw this out there too, especially when I'm talking to a larger scale of people that can see like what's going on in say one of the hydro stores when they look at all the bottles. Me personally, I felt blessed to work for Advanced early on with all those bottles because, if you look back over 10 years ago, when Big Mike split up all those bottles, he taught a lot of growers how to grow. Like most guys, they had all these products in 2 or 3, 4 bottles, like say 5 bottles total.
Oh yeah.
Well, he split them up and it was a brilliant marketing idea. And it's the reason why people can even sell liquid fertilizer at the price they do is because of Big Mike. But he split everything up. So people actually had to learn, I'm deficient here or something else is going on here. So in return, here's another bottle. Yes, but here's why you're using this. And let me tell you all about it. So it was genius in multiple ways, but
yeah, there's lots of bad feelings or emotions over advanced nutrients. But man, I'm going to tell you what Big Mike really did for us is he was the first company who's like, we're growing weed, bitches. Right?
Oh yeah.
Right? Like this is for weed. This is the 2 pound plus formula. Remember that?
Oh, dude, when I used to walk into a hydro store, I'm no bullshit. If I start talking advanced nutrients, then they're like, hey man, we got to keep this on the down. I looked at them, I'd be like, you don't get my products, homie.
Yeah.
That was it. Just the bottom line. I'm like, I'm here to teach you how to do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
That.
Lots of people hated on those guys. And, man, honestly, I think they were hated on because they were so successful and they were pioneers in the industry in so many ways. They pioneered the ultra expensive supplement. Right. Oh my God, they were the first people to have the most expensive supplements.
They made it fun too.
They made it fun.
Yeah, and I think that was a real draw to liquid nutrients was that there was like, if I add this, I might get better results than I did last time. And if you keep doing that and getting
every
different
week,
results,
I've got something different to do. I get to be involved with my plants.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Like the difference between adding humic acids or adding, like guanos or just running a product with nothing added to it, and seeing the nuances that can develop, whether it's from those products or not, it might just be all placebo, but it works. It's definitely a consumer experience to be adding those new things and seeing what's around the corner.
Well, that's a progression thing. I apologize.
No, go ahead.
That's a kind of a progression thing too. Is like, somebody starts off with all these bottles, which is not a bad idea. And then they progress into, hopefully they'll land when they become pros at front row. So it's like they can either they could be a pro, but what's really cool about our product too is it's extremely simplified to where somebody that is using those 15 bottles can understand, holy shit, I can use 3
Well, a lot of growers too, as they scale up, even like myself, from a couple lights to barns to warehouses to commercial grows, you have those bottles and you realize, well, I'm probably going to end up using them all in about the same way throughout veg and the same way throughout flower every single time. And it really doesn't need to be this complicated, or at least have this many steps to the process every single time. I mean, originally back in 2010 and 11, that's when we were either using advanced nutrients or like even NutriPlus with a bunch of bags of salt or Botanicare. It was like, well, why are we measuring out every single one of these over and over and over again when we just use it the same way?
Okay. Well, if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, then you know that I like potting soil, make potting soil, cocoa potting soil specifically. And, I just wanted to talk to you about how much I love cocoa fiber and why you should use it and why your plants should be in cocoa fiber, and they're going to love it too. One, man, my new product, Coco's Growers HP, is just an incredibly clean product and made for indoor cultivation. I mean, you can use it anywhere, but man, it is clean as you can get it. We try extremely hard to avoid all cross-contamination, all bugs, weeds, and seeds. We keep it all inside. It's manufactured all inside. We treat it like a bakery. We start out clean. We end clean. We clean up while we're going through the day. We really try to take a great effort to put this quality product together. So the number one reason you should use Growers HP is, man, it is clean. Number two reason you should use Growers HP is, man, this product, we have developed it, man, almost specifically because we want to see like just incredible root development and root growth. And that's what this product does. I used to be a diehard cocoa only guy, compost cocoa, and I just saw the benefits of peat. And so we started putting small amounts of peat in it. Man, the roots take off. Cocoa and peat just blend together so well. So there's the second reason that you should buy Growers HP is, man, just the increased root development. Now, the third reason you should buy Cocoa HP is because, man, it's a really light potting soil. And when I mean light, I mean that like most people can pick up 4 bags at once, kind of no problem. It's light like this because of the way we make it, the way we can control how much water we put in it. We make it a really dry elevation, or really dry high elevation area in Colorado, so it dries out really nicely. And when it gets in the bag, man, it's as light, it's lighter than any potting soil of 2 cubic foot that you can get. So there's the third reason, man, is it's really light product, that the moisture's controlled in it specifically. Now, the fourth reason, man, it's a real easy one, man. It's just because your friend Chip asked you to go support him, support the real dirt, and buy some Growers HP. So there you have it, man. Top 4 reasons why you should use Growers HP in your garden. Leland, you brought up a really good point. And Matt, also to talk about yours, about this hobbyist level is like, we look on 4 lights or 6 lights as a hobbyist level, but for years, like those guys were like the dope growers.
Oh, crushing it.
Right. And that was how big you got. And so the power company or your neighbor wouldn't come on and knock on your door. Right. It didn't smell so much that like it caused a problem in the neighborhood. And the power company, if they were looking at your power, is like, oh, he likes to be cold. Oh, he likes to be warm. It wasn't that much power difference. Right. But those hobbyists, they were making a lot of money. Right. And, they were able to like have great lifestyles and go on snowboard and surf trips and start families and businesses and all the crazy things we've all seen growers do. But it also gave them all this economy to invest in these expensive products. But they got to do something every day because it doesn't take much to grow 4 lights. Right. But you want to be involved. Right. And you guys, hey, man, there's somebody out there who's lying to all your friends, telling them how hard you're working and you only got 4 lights, but you're doing pretty well for yourself. It's cool. We know your secret.
Making it sound like a full-time job.
Yeah, you're making it sound like, no, I got to go work in the garden. And it's really just 4 more hours on YouTube and seeing, what pearl snaps are in this season.
What new show am I going to watch?
But no, my point is it really gave people something to do. And what's happened now is that the industry changed and there's plenty of ganja growing to keep yourself busy. right? And you can't be screwing around like every week with like a complex different formula and having employees involved with that type of stuff. You know, even if they're great employees, people make mistakes, man.
There's a lot of variables.
Lots of variables. So previously, when all the growers were entertaining themselves with their fertilizer program because they didn't have anything else to do, now they get to grow way more weed and they don't need to think about the fertilizer program.
We all used to enjoy spending an hour and a half mixing up our reservoirs.
Yeah. Oh man, the techniques I've seen people. Hey, great little side topic. Let's talk about some reservoir mixing techniques.
Right. I mean, I've had 200-gallon open reservoirs on the ground where we just have Mondi pumps mixing in them.
Oh yeah.
Back in the day.
That is a common way, man.
Standard.
Yeah.
Standard mix. The no mix is my favorite.
Oh man.
Right.
Let it go stagnant.
Fill your reservoir up, mix it up once, and then
use it all
and don't use it, and it begins to like create biofilm. You know,
it gets funky.
It gets funky.
One of the better ways we've seen though is having a pump that pulls off the bottom and then pushes the water with an air brake back in the top. Yeah, and is recirculating pretty constantly, or at least several hours a day.
There's several lines out there who say don't pump the water because it's biological life and it's going to make it grow. Right. That's not actually the case. We'll go back. We're serious now is with your product. You don't have to worry about that. Is a synthetic soluble salt product. Right. If you have clean water going in, then you can just pump to mix the nutrients and not pumping water in for biological life to grow. Right.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when one unintended consequence, when people used to switch over to our fertilizer, wouldn't shock their systems or clean their lines, they'd call us and be like, well, suddenly there's a bunch of this residue at the bottom of my tank that wasn't there before. And we're like, well, it's definitely not from the fertilizer. It's soluble, and you probably made it right. And then we'd realize, though, that it was because there was nothing to feed what used to be in their lines anymore. It was just sloshing out into the bottom of their tanks. And we're like, all right, well, shock your system and clean it, and it'll go away and won't happen again.
Right. Absolutely. You know, we've also got Jacob walk into the room. He is head of our commercial sales in Denver and throughout the nation. How's it going, Jacob?
Doing good. How you guys doing?
You're on. You're sharing mics right here with.
I'll just lean into Leland's chest here. We're friendly.
He talks so softly.
Half vaccinated.
Yeah, no. Here, let me get a line on you.
That's multiple decibels higher than Leland, even from a distance.
Absolutely. Just turn the mic towards you. There we go. Speak into the mic.
There we go.
Hey, Jacob. You know, we've had so many people switch over to Front Row. I mean, I don't know if this is true, but I guarantee you we're one of y'all's largest vendors, right? A product. Tell me why people switch over, Jacob.
Honestly, I would say probably the number one reason people switch over is because of you guys. You guys do a really good job of going out and giving customers the support that a lot of other companies don't, honestly. You know, there's only a few select companies, I would say, especially nutrient companies, that are actively on the ground. You can call them, you can ask a question. You know, a lot of other people just kind of buy what's being sold. You guys buy what works, and people, hear about that. They know about it. They hear about it from other growers. It's more of like a word of mouth. You know it clearly does work because other people are buying it because of the results they see. Yeah, and the other main reasons for people switching over, one would be the ease of use. Simple 3 products. It's really hard to mess up. You don't have a bunch of people mixing and matching bottles. It's also colored. So, why would you ever put in blue twice? Just wouldn't happen. The cost, everyone's trying to cut costs, but they don't want to cut quality. You see the quality still lives up to a lot of the other more expensive nutrient brands. And then just for employment, all of your employees that are at a basic entry level, they don't really need to know all the intricacies of the product. Like I heard mentioned earlier, you can pre-weigh it out for every reservoir so you can have that control. And you just say, hey, put in bag A, B, C, let it mix, move along with your day, which I think is very valuable, especially as people scale up.
Yeah, everybody like Ziploc and vacuum seal out some packs for their reservoirs so their employees can handle it that way. Or
meal plan. And one thing Jacob brought up that is super important is our customer service. I don't think could be understated is our team. They have real cultivation experience, whether it's years and years in their own gardens or actual commercial facilities. And then the owners of the company as well are commercial growers. And so any day of the week, you can call us and reach out, and we'll talk to you about your gardens, what's going on in it, whether it's fertilizer or not, IPM related, your building systems, anything and anything. And we really just try to be there to support you, increase the knowledge base, and share what we've learned throughout the years.
Like Matt said, we're all growers ourselves. So I've been doing this every day for 10 to 12 years now. I grew up in greenhouses. My parents were really growers, and the passion goes for the plant and what we're doing. And yeah, it's just nice to wake up every day and be able to help everybody. You know, it's what we live for sure. We're all very, very happy with what we do, and we got your back 100%. So pretty much why we wanted to do this in the first place.
Yeah, interesting. The customer service bleeds right over in to the ease of use, though, because you guys got some great feed charts.
For me, going into that, but for us, Patrick and I, that's one thing that we really wanted to focus on early on in our companies was that the amount of customer service, it's got to be unmatched out there in the industry, like not only on the store level, but the end user level. That's where our main focus is. I mean, in reality, our main focus is making sure that the end user is getting the experience with the products that they deserve and that they need. Whether they buy it through the store or however they get it, it's our responsibility to make sure that that end user has the best experience with the products.
Yeah, and part of that experience sometimes is the environment and a lot of the things that aren't necessarily the product they're buying. And so we're trying to help them through that experience and make sure they get exactly what they expect.
100%.
I've been to multiple grows with Leland on consultations or just to give an overview of Front Row Ag, and he solved plenty of other problems right off the bat, right when he walked in, not even trying to sell nutrients. Just trying to actually help growers, which is extremely valuable, especially.
I'm sure Leland has that conversation regularly is, hey, you can use any fertilizer really, but it's these are the things that you need to do right now that we're seeing that we could be most impactful with and help you. And, Front Row is going to help you get there as well. But here's what needs to happen.
Yeah, if we're doing our jobs right, then the fertilizer is a secondary conversation. So that's the goal, is to not have to think about fertilizer anymore, and let's see where else we can level up. And one of the advantages of being where we're at is that we get to it's part of our job to chat with everybody else in the industry who's got cool shit. So, we get to see the best LEDs. We get to see who makes the best soil. Shout out to Chip. And
growersoil.growerscover.com.
We like to make sure that all of our friends who share the same kind of passion and vision that we do are all on the same team, and we're all speaking the same language.
The technical support for us is the main key. We feel like we have one of the best products on the market. In order for that product to work properly, like Matt said earlier, is that we have to have the proper environment. So one of the things that we've always focused on with the growers is being in these grows and allowing the space and being comfortable enough with our partners that we can point out the different forms of variables that they have that are causing adverse effects down the road, which is really important. That's what we love to do. Is we're not ever trying to go into a grow and point out, miscomings or bad habits or whatever, but it's the idea that if we can move past some of these small variables that are keeping them behind, the product's going to shine itself.
Hey guys, just a quick break to tell you about Cultivate OKC, Cultivate Colorado. I got into the hydroponic supply business 2009. I had wanted to open up a retail hydroponic store for years, and I was already making potting soil at that point, maybe some fertilizers and some other stuff I was into. I hadn't opened up a retail shop, and I got this opportunity to open one up in California. Right as I was fixing to open up down in Riverside, Colorado came along. Ended up being better, bigger opportunity. Opened up our Colorado stores, and man, it's just we've been off to the races ever since. Now we're in Colorado and in Oklahoma. We ship all over the country and even the world, man. It's amazing the people that call us, contact us that needs some equipment to grow their fine cannabis with. So if you need any help, any equipment, if you want to come to a great grow store where people don't judge you, we're not click oriented, we're just there to help you grow, man, come see us at Cultivate. Cultivate, Colorado. We're on exit 206, I-25. We're also on the Stapleton, Monaco exit there on I-70. And down in Oklahoma City, our newest store, and man, probably our nicest showroom right now, is we're right on the corner of 10th and Meridian. So come check us out, 1101 North Meridian. Yeah, man. Got any questions about growing, no matter if you're big or small, just come on in. We'd be glad to chat with you. There is a lot of emotion that goes into growing cannabis, and it's always this like dance you have to play a little bit with people's cultivation facilities and maybe even their egos, because we all put a lot into what we do and we're proud of it. But the easy ones are when you go into a room and you're like, oh, well, you just got my soil, for instance, but I can see you have everything to adjust your environment right. You're just not doing it right. Right. Hey, look up a VPD chart. Here, check this out. Right. Follow this. Right. And like, they change that. They use my soil and they immediately do better. Right. Now, is this whole combination of things that go on, but it's like what you guys bring to the table, what we all bring to the table, Jacob brings to the table, is like, it's product support. Right. It's we're here to help you do whatever you're doing better. Right. You got your own style. Everyone does. Right. I'm sure you guys have people that use your nutrients not off the feed chart.
Oh,
correct. Yeah, of course.
Well,
right?
we tell them that's a guideline anyways. It's a basic starting point anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right.
And a lot of time when people have figured out something that works for them in terms of schedule or strength, and we make that recommendation a lot, is, hey, anything that has fertilizer in it, stop using it and you're use front row, but come in at a similar EC or ppm and, start from there. And that might not be exactly what the feed chart always says either.
Yeah, there's varying water qualities throughout Oklahoma and the country for sure. So, people have figured out, ways to use fertilizers within their water quality limitations, right? And that's one of the major things we see here in Oklahoma is a base, a ppm of 400. All throughout the state. In some places, it's 1,200. Right?
If people aren't using RO, we do offer actually a hard water formulation.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So many people in Oklahoma are using RO. I know we're all on it. We suggest people to get on it. It helps up so much. Let's talk about the RO formulation.
Yeah. What about it?
Yeah. Why should, if I'm using RO, why should I use it?
So yeah, there's probably a misconception, and maybe a better way is to explain why do we have a hard water formula. Is out there in the world, one thing we help customers with from a customer service standpoint is we take their water out of their well, the spigot, or even their RO system just to really verify it's working and test it. And a lot of the time in water, there's ions or attributes of it that are really, really good. But forever and ever, just like walking into kind of a hydro store and buying one product for one solution, people have always been told that they have to use RO systems. And it's not
because
always,
it makes it zero.
It makes it zero.
Right.
But there might be fertilizer or bicarbonates in the water that are unbelievably helpful. And then water out of a well or the ground also has good dissolved oxygen and good energy. An RO filter is a sodium filter. So the moment you run that water through it, you strip all the energy out of it along with all the ions you just took out of it. So from there, you should condition the water, the RO water, either circulate it to give it energy, use something to put energy back into it, and then also add dissolved oxygen back into that water. And then it's good quality irrigation water. But RO water that's not conditioned properly, time and time over, can be worse than someone's just general water.
If you have these high ppms that people do throughout Oklahoma and you're not using RO, what's a really good way to use your product? Which one of these products of yours do I use? I use the hard water product?
Well, I'd reach out to us first, and the first thing we do is we bottle your water up, and then we'll tell you. We'll say it's either going to be a combination of these products or it's all the hard water formulation or all the regular formulation.
And people just call you guys up and ask this all the time.
All day, every day.
All right. Everybody, put your joint down and pull your phone out, and I want you to log on to all of this information. All right, let's start with the best way to get in touch with you guys.
Well, multiple ways. You can go online and request that. You can call directly. You can find us on our Instagram pages.
Let's start with the Instagram. What's the Instagram?
It would be front row. So it would be front_row_ag on Instagram.
And they can message you guys that way.
They can get us there. And then
Right.
in each territory, all of the team members have individual tags so that they can also go there depending on which area you're in. But initially, if you wanted to reach out direct, you can go right to the website, www.frontrow.com. Put your information in there and somebody can reach out pretty quick to you.
But the Instagram, and then since Solstice is our distributor and partner and all of that, they have each of their handles are like Solstice or Farmer John, Solstice Leland or whatever. Leland, what's your handle?
Solstice.Colorado.
There you go. See?
There you go. So when people call up, when people message, they're going to be talking to you guys, though.
They talk to us.
Right? They talk to you,
Yeah,
one of you three, maybe somebody else,
Yeah,
right?
they're talking directly to us. We don't pass it on, whether they're asking questions about lights or fertigation or mediums or
1-844-420-6883.
my bad. 844. Sorry, Patrick.
That's the call-in number. If you want to go on the website and go down to the customer service section and fill out an account, that's always the easiest way. That'll send an email straight to me or one of my guys or one of the rest of the team, rather. Sorry. And yeah, we'll definitely be reaching out ASAP.
We are your guys, bro.
Yeah,
What
back
you
to
talking
you.
about? We
Yeah,
are your
yeah,
guys.
His
My boys.
team.
My boys, the
my
team.
boy.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
If you're using RO water, it's pretty straightforward. We recommend this our regular formulation, and then we'll talk to you about how to treat the RO and make sure you're getting the most out of the money you're spending on the system and process. If you're going to try to use your well water or city water, very quickly in the process, we have you bottled up and we test it for you.
That makes it great, man. And you know, this old school like approach, the vendors and the grow shops, we were all the original quote unquote consultants, and we were really product support people. But we were the people who were the front lines that helped people grow for years before they were consultants. And now so many, and I do have a consulting company, Greener Group Consulting. But,
You can check me out on Instagram.
yeah. There's so many consultants now, but you can really cut to the chase. Most farmers, they can call people like you guys, right? They can call Cultivate Colorado, Cultivate OKC, and literally get all the product support that many consultants charge them for. And all they have to do is buy the products. They just buy the fertilizer. They just buy some lights or something, or you don't even have to do that at the grocery store. You can just come in and ask some questions, and we'd love to chat with you, right? And that's the customer support, the technical support that we all started with, and that we're offering to you all.
Yeah, and what's good about that as well is the majority of us have been doing it as long as we have connections with all of the other companies, whether they're the reps or the owners of these lighting companies or fertigation companies, where we're able to get the answers that were needed no matter what. But usually, I mean, you guys, especially at your storage level, you guys got the answers.
Yeah, well, we see so many people come in. I mean, how many people we come in at the Denver stores there every week? Hundreds of people, commercial growers.
Thousands.
Yeah, a week, hundreds for sure. And then and that's not counting all the deliveries or all the conversations with the growers that we have all over the country, and our ability to hear what everybody's doing and how everybody's progressing. I mean, it's this great like experiment on our part, because Jacob gets to sell all of these people, your product. And then we end up talking to him. They're like, "Oh, dude, things going great, man. Oh, high five, love Michigan." Right. Oh, man, we love Maryland. Oh, it's great. Oh, man, New York's great. Oh, love it. Oh, man, we're down in Florida. And it's awesome that we get to see people from all over the country like use the product and hear all this feedback on how they do it. And the learning curve on that is incredible. And chances are we've seen a grow that's been super successful, just like yours, just like the one you're in right now that maybe you're having problems with, or that maybe you think you're crushing at, or maybe you're legitimately crushing at it. Like we have seen people just like destroy the yields and quality in the very same type of room that you're growing in. So if you want to give us a call at Cultivate Colorado, Cultivate OKC, cultivateokc.com, stop in the store. Man, we'd love to chat with you about your grow room and help you achieve the best you absolutely can.